Are you hearing the background sounds?
No, Swami. No.
Nothing, right? Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tam hadevamatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanaganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om. Now, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, having said that how important it is even for an enlightenment, for an enlightened person to keep the ignorant going on the path, treading on the path, for which he says that the Vidwan, so that the enlightened one now who sees that there is a need amongst these people to uplift themselves, or else they will always be drowned in samsara, in suffering. And out of compassion, therefore, now he sets them an example to follow, following which they will slowly and steadily arrive at a point from where they can take the quantum leap. From where now the jigyasa, the desire to know Brahman, the desire to know the reality, the desire to know the self will arise. And therefore, such a Vidwan now, he should help these people pave their own path by treading, by doing their swadharma, by doing their own karma, their own duties. And how should he do that? Not by just telling them by words that do your own duty. At times, we have people at home and places and, working places where somebody is all the time nagging behind you, do your work, do your work, do your work. And that nagging becomes so obnoxious that one is repelled. In fact, one becomes rebellious and doesn't want to do it only because of that nagging. So this is not the way how the karma should be done, is to be told or is to be taught. I remember somebody once had asked Puja Gurudev that how should we teach values to our children? And he said, values are not taught, they are caught. So if the child is going to watch his parents, observe his parents, and even without saying, when he observes those underlying principles behind their actions, he is definitely going to be grasped by them. So it is not necessarily a verbal teaching. It is something that is taught by action. Of course, there is something which needs to be taught in words, to be told in words. That is the whole Shabda Pramanam. That is the area of Shabda Pramanam. But here, how the action should be done, how that Swadharma should be pursued is now taught by his own actions. So now, such a Vidwan, such an enlightened one is definitely not a sannyasi. And even if he is a sannyasi, by watching how this sannyasi lives by his own Swadharma, how he lives by the principles of that sannyasa ashrama, of that station in life which is called as sannyasa. How does he live? Now that becomes an inspiration, that becomes like a lighthouse for other people to do their own duties. So he who has, now here is a sannyasi, here is an enlightened one who is not a sannyasi. And therefore, now he does the karma, his own karma. He does not go and meddle in others' affairs. He does his own karma. But he does it in such perfectly meticulous way that it becomes an inspiration, it becomes an example for others to follow. Joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yuktas samacharan. Okay, and he encourages them to do the karma, to do their own duty. If a person does not follow the dharma, he will never ever arrive at this doorstep of Brahma Jijnasa. Because it is only by living the life of dharma that the inner purification can take place. And when that dharma, even your duties are performed without any selfish motives, without any ulterior motives, now that Swadharma becomes such a powerful instrument, such a powerful tool to cleanse the heart, to cleanse all our intentions which are holding us down, keeping us bound. But those intentions, those desires will be given up. And this is the inner purification that will take place. And when this purification happens, a natural thing which is bound to happen in any person is that he will make an inquiry into the nature of life. What is the reality of life? What is it that I really want in life? Where is it that I want to reach? Everybody seems to be in a hurry. Everybody is in a rush. But where are they rushing to? So now, what is the meaning of, what is the very purpose of living, of doing all these actions? This is going to be his inquiry. Till the point this does not become the inquiry, till the point this does not become a thirst thing for you wanting to know what is the purpose of life. People already have decided, somebody says that let me have as much pleasure as I can before this body withers away. And not only that, he says that if the body is going to wither, I am going to take all precautions to prevent it from withering. I am going to take all precautions for it to prevent it from deteriorating. And that is the reason why you have all these various Ayurvedic medicines, etc., which are so popular. Anti-aging. Now this fellow and people want to do yoga and do various kinds of exercises so that they are somehow able to retain the youthfulness in the body. Because for them, the purpose is have as much as you can before you say goodbye. Eke out the most. For some people, it is having more and more power. For some people, becoming more and more popular. And please don't say that, well, it doesn't bother us. If it wouldn't bother you, one is not, in this digital age, you are not going to check how many likes I have got on my photograph, how many people are admiring my beauty. So popularity, fame, acceptance by people, these are various purposes that people have already predetermined for themselves as their purposes of life. And this fellow now, he who has cleansed his heart through the performance of Karma Yoga, now he says, that what is it that these people are saying that more and more fame and more popularity, more and more pleasure, at the end of it, all people are going to forget you one day. You think you are hogging all the limelight all the time. You are the most important person, but sorry, sir, each person over here feels that he is most important in life. And you want to make yourself important to others. What a futile exercise, because nobody is really going to agree on this, that you are the most important person. The most important person for each one of us is he himself, you yourself. The other person becomes important only because he is in association with you. Well, friends, but this fact is going to be appreciated only by the one whose heart now has become clean and clear. Money and power and women and pleasures and relatives and admiration, all these things, he says, are just like the rainbow in the sky. Very beautiful and very attractive. Yet it is like a rainbow. You admire a rainbow, you see, you enjoy a rainbow, but you don't chase a rainbow. You don't go running behind it thinking that you are going to keep it in your room, catch it, and bring it into your room. Nobody does that, because all of us know that this rainbow is just an appearance. So also now, when a person knows that all these things are so fleeting, he makes an inquiry as what is it that is real? What is it that is permanent? What is it that does not wither away? What is it that gaining which one doesn't want to have anything more now? The sense of inadequacy comes to an end. But when would this happen? Only after the mind has become pure enough to question existence. And that would happen only if you can do karma yoga. Karma yoga is possible only if you do your own karma. But if a person in a hurry sees that an enlightened one is the one who is free from karma, and therefore, if I want to be enlightened, I should give up karma, and he gives up the karma without cleansing the heart, nor will he have the cleansing of heart, nor will he have the knowledge, the enlightenment. And therefore, such a person will be the biggest sufferer. He will lose the most. And therefore, now when Shri Krishna says that, if you really want to help people, help them live a righteous life. And how would people live a righteous life? By looking at you, not by you telling them to live. If only your life and your actions can inspire someone else to live righteously, then please know that yes, your righteousness is true righteousness. Otherwise, we become righteous and we become good only in presence of others when others are watching us. Such goodness is just like a superficial peel. So no, we are talking about the enlightened one who is moved by the suffering of people around him. So there is nothing selfish that he wants to gain for himself. By doing so, he does not see that, he is bound to be benefited. There is nothing, there is no other agenda for his own benefit. It is all meant for the others. And therefore, only such a person who is enlightened alone is going to be truly free from all selfishness. He is the only one who can be free from selfishness. The rest of us can be good, can be helpful. Yet in that goodness and that helpfulness, there is bound to be some part which is your own, for your own benefit. And I'm not going to say that there is anything wrong about it. Let it be there as long as you can be. But if you're living a life of righteousness, that's good enough. Now, understand that this righteousness is also your puja, your worship of the Lord. So now, this is how the enlightened one transforms the world, not through his words, but through his deeds. And if there are some mumukshu arrives, if there is someone who comes to him with a desire of moksha and nothing else, where his heart is not at all contaminated by any other intentions, then to such a person, he will give the upadesha. He will deliver that knowledge. Atma is Brahman. But for others, he is not going to sit over there and tell Atma is Brahman, believe Atma is Brahman, okay, Atma is Brahman. No. That's not what he will do. He will only become an indicator that you also live a righteous life. And therefore, now having said that much, Bhashyakar Bhagavan gives an introduction to the next verse, the 26th verse. Here he says, Evam lokasangraham chikirshoho na mamatma vidaha kartavyamasti anyasya va lokasangraham muktva. Now the one who wants to see that everybody becomes happy, everybody is delivered from dukkham. There was this great saint in Maharashtra, Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj. And at the end of his discourse, he is asking for a prasadadana. His own Guru Nivrittinath Maharaj, who happened to be his own elder brother, he says that, give me this dana. What is that he's asking for? He says, Duritan se timira rajavo vishvaswadharma surye paho zoje vanshila tote laho pranizata. He says, Duritan se timira zavo, may all become free from papa, from the sinful life. From the past sins, known and unknown, may they all become free. Duritan se, may this darkness of sinful life go away. Vishvaswadharma surye paho, and may everyone in this world be able to see the sun of righteous living. As long as we don't recognize how important is living by dharma, till then we are nowhere close to spirituality. Vishvaswadharma surye paho zoje vanshila tote laho. And therefore, whatever that people are desiring, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, may that be gained, may that be achieved by people, attained by people through this life of righteousness. Swadharma surye paho soje vanshila tote lavo pranizat. And he says, teacher, if you are pleased by my puja, by my this worship that I have offered to you at your lotus feet, this is the earliest discourse on Bhagavad Gita, which was given in a local language, in a vernacular language, and open to all. So he was a revolutionary who brought about this revolution, a spiritual revolution, a spiritual movement in this part of the globe. He says, may my teacher, who is Paramatma himself in this form, may he grant me this boon. So Loka Sangraham, so he is also even such a great sage. Like Jnaneshwar Maharaj, he also sees that may everybody become free from the grip of sin. And so, Loka Sangraham Chikirshoho, so he who is desirous of uplifting people, okay, na mama atmavidaha kartavyamasti anyasya va. Anyasya atmavidaha. For me as well as for anyone who is enlightened, Arjuna, there is nothing else for them to do except that they help these people, because by helping them, he has nothing to lose or he has nothing to gain. Others only have the benefit. And therefore, Loka Sangraham Muktva Kartavyam Nasti. Therefore, he has nothing else other than this Loka Sangraha, just benediction on this world, to bestow the blessings, to bring the benediction to this world. Tataha tasyatma vidaha idamupadishyate. And so this Upadesha was is being given to him in 26th verse. Nabuddhibhedam janayed ajnanam karmasanginam joshayed sarvakarmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. But though the vidvan, though the enlightened one is also doing the same karma like the one who is not enlightened, what is the difference? He is also doing the same karma, I am also doing the same karma. Then what makes him enlightened, and what is the difference, qualitative difference between this action of an enlightened one and my action? If this is the question, understand that when the Vidwan, when this enlightened one, when this self-realized master does the action, he doesn't get entangled with the action. Karmasu na sajjate. He does not get identified with the action. He is not entangled with the action. How is that possible? How is that possible? Understand that. How does, first of all, understand how an ignorant one gets entangled into the snare of action. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaham ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Prakritehe kriyamanani. Prakritehe gunaihi kriyamanani karmani. Now the karma, the actions are accomplished, are done, are performed by the gunas of the Prakriti. We are going to look at every word in little detail. Are done by the gunas of the Prakriti. Keep those technical words as they have come. Totally, absolutely. There is no other agency through which the action is performed. Action is performed by the gunas of the Prakriti, no matter whichever action it may be. But that action, if it is an action, that action is performed by the gunas of the Prakriti. But he who is Vimudhatma, he who is deluded by the ego, or he who is deluded as the ego. And what does he think, and what is his knowledge? Karta aham, that I am the doer, is what he believes. Iti manyate. This is the belief. I am the doer, I am the experiencer, is a belief. When this is a belief, on the reverse side, people are saying Atma is Brahman is a belief. And the one who is enlightened, he says that to believe that Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta is a belief. For you and me, it appears as if Atma is Brahman is another belief. But Atma is Brahman is not a belief. According to the enlightened one, he who has now known, to him, what is a belief? Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta. And how does he come to believe that Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta? Because deluded by the ahankar, deluded by the sense of ego. Though the actions are performed by the gunas of the Prakriti, he believes that I am the doer. Who is performing the action? The gunas. So technically, who should be called as the doer of the actions? The gunas should be called as the doer of the action. Instead of seeing the gunas as the doer of the action, as the agent of the action, he says, I am that agency which is performing the karma. And this is the delusion. It is done by something and you are taking the credit. And it is not taking credit, it is in fact only getting entangled, enmeshed. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Now let us look at how Bhashyakar Bhagavan explains. Prakritehe, of the Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Pradhanam sattva rajas tamasam gunanam samyavastha. What is this Prakriti? It means it is that state of equilibrium where the sattva, raja and tama are not disturbed. They are in a perfect state of equilibrium. That is Prakriti. That is what is meant by the word Prakriti. But Prakritehe gunaihi. Gunaihi matlab vikaraihi. But when the sattva, raja and tama, there is some kind of imbalance where the sattva now is dominated or the tama and the rajoguna and tamoguna, they get what do they call? There is this hod lagi hui hai. There is as if some sort of a competition where the raja wants to overpower the tama wants to overpower the raja, then raja and tama wants to overpower the sattva, etc. When this is the state, it is called as the vikshepa. Over here, prakritehe gunaihi vikaraihi. Now, because of the Prakriti's gunas, which means the modifications of the Prakriti, and how do these modifications happen? There it is said, karya karana rupaihi, karya karana nahi, karya karana rupaihi. Karya means this deha, and karana means the indriyas, the karanas, the tools. And we all very well know that we are endowed with some tools through which we perform an action. If all the actions are performed because you are able to walk, because you have the padendriyas, the faculty of what do they call? Walking, the ability to walk, of motion. You are able to hold, release, lift because you have hands. You are able to speak because you have the faculty of speech. You are able to see because you have the faculty of vision. These are various tools, and if these tools were not there, these actions would not be performed. If you did not have eyes, you would not see color, experience colors and forms. If you did not have the Shrotrendriya, I'm not saying ears, the ability which is present in the ears, in the auditory, physical, auditory mechanism. If this ability was not there, you wouldn't be able to hear. Whether you like jazz or you like pop or you like Western classical or Indian classical or only bhajan, it does not matter. You are able to hear because you have the tool, the instrument of hearing, listening to the sound. So we have these karanas, and these karanas are bahikaranas and antakarana. The external tool and the internal tool. What are the external tools? The 5 organs of action and the 5 organs of knowledge. These are your external tool with which you come in contact with the world outside. But the world just that is outside is not the only world. There is an inside world too. And for that world, you have antakaranam. What do you have? The inner instrument. Antakaranam. Mana, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara, the cognitive faculty. This cognitive faculty is also the tool with which cognitions take place. Whether you remember something or you forget something, or you carry an identity about yourself, you understand something or you misunderstand something. All these cognitions are possible because there is this cognitive faculty which is present, and this cognitive faculty is called as the inner instrument. It is called as the inner instrument. Antakaranam. So Prakriti, the gunas of the Prakriti, which means the modifications of the Prakriti, which are in form of this body and the faculties with which this body is endowed. And because of these, the body and the various faculties, now the actions are possible. Karma is possible. So what is it technically that is, for example, your eyes, in a different language, if I have to explain this, I'm just going to say it this way, that your eyes perceive fire. The Chakshurindriya has seen fire. And now this message is carried to the buddhi, cognitive faculty. There is this, fire. Now this buddhi processes it and says, run. And the brain now sends the message to the various systems in the body and to the legs. Run. So the muscles tighten up and the legs start carry the body away from the fire because it is a potential danger. Now, in this whole thing, the eyes have perceived, the buddhi has understood and given a decision, and that decision was carried out, that order was carried out by the legs. Now, in this whole process, question is, what did you do? What did you do? You are also present, but just because you are present, does it mean you are the doer? The entire action is done by the body-mind complex. And that mind means that indriyas also. What did you do? Prakritehe, so the action, technically, the action is performed by this karya karana sanghata. Sanghata means an assembly. Assembly of what? The assembly means it's a complex. The body, mind, faculties together. Deha, mana, buddhi, indriyas, pranas, all these faculties together, they are doing the karma. The actions, the movements are accomplished by them. Oh, well, laukika karma. Hey, whether it is laukika karma or secular actions, or there are some religious actions, rituals, etc., that may be done. Everything is performed by this body-mind complex alone. And this body-mind complex is a modification of Prakriti. You can understand how the wheat has modified to become this body. You can understand how the various sugary things that you are eating are becoming the fat in the body. So that modification of the sugar, the modification of the wheat, the modification of the food that you are consuming is this body is understood. But really speaking, even that food which is there is also modification of something. Reach to that point from where you now know that this cannot be further, it does not have a further cause. And that is this Prakriti, gunas of the Prakriti. Shankarananji Maharaj says that the word Prakriti over here means Maya. It is not the Prakriti of the Sankhyas. Karyakarana rupaihi kriyamanani karmani laukikani shastriyani cha sarvashaha sarva prakaraihi. So totally, any action, any movement is accomplished only by the karya karana sanghata, which is the modification of the Prakriti. But ahankara vimudhatma, and the word Atma over here is not that, Sachidananda Atma. Brahman is not meant over here. Atma over here means the mind, okay? He will explain. Karyakarana sanghate atma pratyayo ahankara. What is the meaning of word ahankara? The experience of the self, that the experience that I am, this I am, this pratyaya, this experience is now equated with the body-mind complex. Karyakarana sanghate. What is the meaning of the I for the ignorant person? This body-mind complex, and therefore he has no hesitation. He says it very confidently. I'm man, I'm woman, I'm young, I'm old, I'm beautiful, whatever he may be saying. I'm genius, I'm dull, whatever he may be saying. But it is karyakarana sanghate atma pratyayaha. This atma pratyaya, that this body-mind complex is the meaning of word I. This understanding, this experience is called as the ego. So if you wanted what is a technical definition of ego, it is this. Therefore, by the word ego, though we are using the word ego in English, but we are using it in this meaning. By this ego, we do not mean to say, oh, he has a big fat ego. Oh, no. We are not talking about arrogance, vanity, pride, or anything like that. or exaggerated self-image and, all those things. No. By the word ahankara, what is meant? Karya karana sanghate atma pratyayaha ahankaraha. How is this? What is ahankara? I hope people will take a note of it and will remember it. What is ahankara? Karya karana sanghate atma pratyayaha. And then tena vividham nana vidham mudhaha. And this person is deluded in several ways. Nana vidham. He is deluded in several ways. Now you see, we don't have several complexes, and we don't define ourselves in different ways. I'm mother, I'm father, I'm this, I'm daughter, I'm son, I'm husband, I'm wife, I'm so and so, I'm this, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm holy, I'm pure, I'm spiritual, I'm non-spiritual, I'm atheist, I'm agnostic. We don't say that? What do you mean by all these things? What do you mean? This is nana vidhamudhaha, mohitaha, deluded in different ways. In different ways. Nana vidhamudhaha, nana vidhamudhaha. So that's why the word is what? Vimudhaha. What is the meaning of word vimudhaha? Vividham, nana vidham, in different ways, several ways, in fact, innumerable, countless identities that we have. If the mood swings happen, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm, nana vidham mudhaha. Atman takkaranam yasya. So now over here, that buddhi is deluded, is not able to see this, the fact about Atma, and that's why he under the sway, under the spell of this delusion. Yasya. And so he who is thus, who is deluded as the ego, okay, as the ego, yasya soyam karyakarana dharma, karyakarana abhimani, avidyaya karmani atmani manyamanaha. And therefore, what happens? Due to the ignorance, where the karma, the action is performed by the karanas, by the body-mind complex, but he believes, I am the one who is doing it. Atmani manyamanaha. So where does he see the agency of action? In the self. Karmani atmani manyamanaha. And how does he say that then? Tat karmanam aham karta. Karmanam nahi. Tat karmanam aham karta iti manyate. So I am the karta of those various karmas is what he believes. And why is it a belief? Because it is not a fact. Just because something is accepted and believed very staunchly by everyone does not change the fact. Fact is not established just because it is something acceptable or accepted by all, by majority. No, sir. Fact is not dependent on any people accepting or not accepting it. Before we could discover that the earth was round, people believed that earth was flat. And even today, there are people who insist on saying that the earth is flat. Now, for such people, what can we say? What can we say? Karmani atmani manyamanaha tattat karmanam aham karta iti manyate. Avidyaya, because of ignorance. And just because earth is flat was at once upon a time the opinion of majority, almost all, maybe except just one Galileo who said it is not. So for the rest of the world, Galileo is mad. But Galileo says that what can I do? It is a fact. Whether you call me mad or not, a fact is established not because, a religious institution says, or an authority says, or the king says, or the prime minister says, no, sir, or the majority people say, no. None of them can create a fact. People can create belief systems, sure enough. So also this is also a belief. Aham karta iti manyate is a belief. This is how this is the story of the ignorant. But now Shri Krishna is going to tell us further what is the difference between the ignorant and the enlightened, and therefore what is the difference between their action of the enlightened one. Apparently he is also doing Sandhya Vandanam. The enlightened one is also doing Sandhya Vandanam, one ritual at the time of the sunrise and sunset. He is doing Sandhya Vandanam. Both of them are chanting the same mantras. Then what is the difference? The difference is this, that ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. In the enlightened one, there is the ahankara, that I am the doer. This kind of an delusion is falsified. He sees it very clearly, and therefore it is not there in such that it is not there in the enlightened one. So now we are going to see what is the difference, and that difference is going to be shown to us in the next verse. And then after, once again, Shri Krishna Bhagavan is going to say that the enlightened one should not disturb the ignorant one. Why? Because unless and until he does the karma, he cannot come out of this chakravyuha. The maze in which he is caught up. The only way to come out of it is rising above the desires, and that will become possible only if a person lives the life of righteousness. And when the righteousness is, you even perform all your actions righteously, and even those righteousness not for any personal gain, but only so that the antakaranam, the faculty of knowing, can become pure. Then for antakarana shuddhi, when it is done, it will create a mind and intellect which is now capable of knowledge. And when the knowledge takes place, the person will be free from the karma bandhanam, he will discover his liberation, freedom from the suffering. And therefore, it is important that he does the karma. Therefore, Arjuna, even for you to withdraw from the karma, if you are ignorant, don't withdraw. Even if you are enlightened, do it for the sake of others because you have nothing to lose. Therefore, karma should not be given up at this point by an ignorant, definitely not, and by an enlightened one who is loka sangraha chikirshu, the one who is desirous of helping others, uplifting others. For such people, now he says that let them follow and help others by doing the karma. So this is what we are going to see in the forthcoming shlokas. Till then, now contemplate on what has been said so far. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om. Thank you all. Thank you very much.